Three, two, one. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Today is Saturday, February 6th. It is 5:18 p.m. on a beautiful Saturday night here in El Paso, Texas, guys. As always, Mr. Misael is here with us. Misa, say what's up.
Yo, what it do?
Guys, we have no producer again today. We're flying solo once again, but that's okay. Today for episode 62 of Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, we have Mayor of the City of Sunland Park, Mr. Javier Perea on. Javier, say what's up to the podcast, man.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome, man. Welcome,
guys. Welcome back. Make sure you guys are following us on Facebook, liking us on Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, guys. We are over 200 subscribers now, so let's get that number up. So, Mr. Perea, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for spending some time with us I know you have a busy schedule, but thank you for coming over here and agreeing to do this podcast with us. So we're glad to have you. Guys, before we do anything, we have a tradition unlike any other. It's called the cracking of the celebratory beer. And it sounds a little like this. So, guys, cheers to you. Cheers, everybody watching, everybody listening.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers to Mr. Perea, Misa. I'm going to indulge.
I'm going to do it again real quick.
That's cool. Yeah, do it again. Go ahead. Round two. Okay. So, guys, we got a lot to get into with Mr. Perea here. Like we said, he is the mayor of Sunland Park, which is a city in New Mexico, for the people who are not familiar with that. We'll get into how he got there. We'll get into a little bit about who he is. But one thing that we wanted to touch on really fast, guys, you guys might have heard in the news recently on Thursday, there was a pretty bad event that happened in the area. There was a New Mexico State police officer that was gunned down while conducting a traffic stop. We're not going to get into the details here, guys. If you guys want all the details, seek out a more credible journalistic outlet than us. That's not ours. Not us, but go check that out. We wanted to give our condolences to the family of Officer Darian Jarrett, who lost his life on Thursday. It was a very tragic event that what happened. So real fast, guys, thoughts, Misa, thoughts on that?
It's just always hard. It's sad to hear when something like that happens, and it just makes me more grateful for all the men and women that are out there taking care of the whole community. So,
Mr. Javier, thoughts on that real fast?
It's my condolences to the family and the law enforcement personnel that work closely with him and the community. I mean, this does affect everybody. And actually, I was up in Santa Fe this week, and on my drive back on Thursday, I mean, state police after state police
flying down the interstate.
Absolutely, yep. and I knew something tragic had happened.
Yep.
And when I got here, I saw the news. It was devastating, and I think something very difficult. And my condolences to everybody,
right,
who's been affected by this tragedy.
So, like I said, guys, if you want full details, go look at KBIA, Fox, wherever you get your news. They have stories about it, so you can read up and see, what happened. But we do want to take a moment of silence for that. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, guys. So shout out to everybody, men and women of law enforcement. We really appreciate you guys risking your lives day in and day out. So let's get into this podcast. Let's transition to a lighter subject here. Mr. Perea, for the people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about where you grew up, life as a kid. Let's get into that a little bit.
All right, absolutely. Well, I'm currently the mayor for the city of Sunland Park. I've been in this position for a little more than 8 years now. I'm homegrown. I was born at the Providence Hospital here in El Paso, Texas. Grew up in Sunland Park my entire life. Went through the school system here, Desert View Elementary, Santa Teresa Middle School, Santa Teresa High School. Went to NMSU. I got a scholarship that covered just about all of my expenses there. So that was a blessing for me. Graduated college with zero debt.
Mira.
So I'm happy about that accomplissment, because I know people graduate with so much debt nowadays. It's incredible.
Let me write that one down for my kids. Yeah. Graduate with no debt. There it is.
But yeah, shortly thereafter, I worked in at Mount Franklin Foods as an HR assistant, and then after that, I worked at Express as a supervisor, and then from there I moved on to Halsberg Diamonds as a jewelry salesman, and after 3 months, I'm like, this is not for me. So then I was actually looking around for new positions, and this opportunity for for the mayor of Sunland Park came about after a scandal that was happening within the city of Sunland Park back in 2012, and
just that whole story that by itself and how you came into that. It's just the whole big story, which is pretty crazy how that went.
It is. You know, I tell everyone I'm going to get the rights to the book because it's an interesting story as to what transcended there, and you know, me being able to come into the position that I'm in today, and sure enough, I mean, with all that education, with all that, you know, I said, you know what, it doesn't hurt to try it out. You know, I figured they already had somebody in place when they announced that they were going to, you know, declare the position vacant and appoint somebody. So they're just going to put somebody they know, somebody. I go up there, present myself, and sure enough, 45 minutes later.
Yeah, so let's get into that a little bit later, because I was curious as to how like it got to that point, and how like it's funny because you weren't outright elected like many people would like assume that you are. You were appointed, and you had to go above in front of a city council and essentially pitch yourself. And you did that, and obviously you were successful. But let's backtrack a little bit to like a young Javier. Like, were you into like sports or anything, or like were you just super into academics? Like, how was that?
I did more of the academic side of things. I was, you know, my first experience with at least the political side was I ran for student council president when I was in elementary school.
Wow.
Jesus, look at him now,
bro. He knew at a very early age. He's like, I'm going to be working in like the public sector, like somewhere in like the government, probably.
Like, start him young.
Yeah.
So no, and actually, ever since sixth grade, I thought I was going to be a news anchor. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to, you know, be a reporter, become a news anchor. And everything I did up into my second year in college was lining up for that.
Nice.
Because I did journalism. I started with KRWG News 22 up there in Las Cruces at MSU. I did SCTV in high school and Substatus in high school.
Oh, nice,
but in college, I got involved with KRWG News 22 and the Broadcasters Club there. But you know, a year and a half in there, I'm like, this is not what I got to experience it, and I'm like, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you realize that you're like, I better rethink shit right here, because this isn't it. So do you remember Chuck DeBroder?
I shot a commercial with him when I was in high school.
In high school,
high school, yeah.
We had him on the podcast. Shout out to Chuck, by the way. He was cool. He spoke German to us. He rapped to us. That episode's really cool, guys. If you want, go check that out. It's on YouTube, Spotify, everywhere. But I'm assuming like, that you would know him because like you said, you were into like, you wanted to be an anchor and stuff, but you actually shot a commercial with him. That's interesting. What was that commercial for?
It's I believe at that time they were trying to launch the weather bug at KTSM, and I think we were one of the first places where they had put in these weather stations, or one of these weather stations, and you know, they got, I think, a group of four students, and we stood around Chuck DeBroder, and I mean, he memorized his lines like this, like that quick.
It's a professional.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still remember, you know, I think each of the students had one sentence or one line.
Yeah.
And we got to shoot that commercial. I thought that was exciting, and I think that fueled my motivation to continue or want to be a news anchor. But
that's what's up. Hell yeah. Shout out to you, Chuck. You see, you're inspiring people. You don't even know it. On a daily basis, he inspires people. It's great. So you grew up in the city of Sunland Park, or you grew up like in Las Cruces, or in where, like what area of the region did you grow up in?
No, I grew up in Sunland Park. I've been there my entire life.
Park.
Absolutely. Okay. It's I live about half a block away from Desert View Elementary is. But my family's been there since
roots.
Yes, absolutely. The home where I live today it used to belong to my grandparents.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And when was that built? Like when, back in what year?
I want to say maybe 1960, 61, around that time.
So that was even before they incorporated the town
yes.
of Sunland Park. So because I remember reading up on like the history of Sunland Park, like it was incorporated in the 80s, right?
That's correct.
But like there had been people living in the area since probably since like the 40s or 50s, I would say, maybe even like further back than that. So it's crazy to see like the progression and the development of the community and the area around it, right?
Well, even when we didn't even have paved streets when I was small.
Yeah, dirt roads back then.
It was still dirt roads, and when my family grew up there, my mom, my aunts, and all of them grew up there. I mean, none of that existed. There were still spotted houses here and there. But now it's a completely different location. I mean, now there's infrastructure. It's growing. There's
industry.
Absolutely. Well, industry. We're getting to that point,
Yeah.
but we're trying right now. We're getting to the tour. We want to get into the tourism.
Population is what, like 30,000 around?
No, not yet. Not yet. The estimated census would put us at about 17,000, but I believe the results just recently came in, so I haven't been able to look at those numbers. But I speculate we're close to 18 to maybe 20,000.
That's a good number, man.
But it's also hard to get a good, like, a firm census count because of how transient like the area is. Like, I don't think people that are not from El Paso or Las Cruces know like how much like there's so many people crossing from like New Mexico to El Paso to Mexico, back to Mexico to El Paso, but like, and people live in New Mexico, work in El Paso, like it's crazy. So like, with that being said, like the city and like the community of Sunland Park is also made up of like the west side of El Paso because of the like proximity, right?
Absolutely. The city of Sunland Park borders El Paso all the way from the point where Texas meets Mexico, right, all the way to a little further up where Artcraft is, and just a little bit further up from there. But I mean, it's you can't tell the difference when you leave one
like
community.
You don't know,
the
like there's no sign like, hey, welcome to Sunland Park.
I always thought, like growing up, I have family that live up in Sunland Park, and I always thought every time we drove out there that it was the far west side. you know how you have far east side and far northeast. Every time I'd go over there, it'd be like, oh, we're in Sunland Park. It's like, yeah, far west side. He's like, no, this is Sunland Park City. I was like, what?
Yeah, they're like,
own city.
You're like, we're in a new state. Yeah, we're in New Mexico. What? Like,
I'm on a road trip.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. So like, when you were in college, did you know, like, I know you said you wanted to be like a broadcaster, but what was your degree in? Like, what were you studying at MSU?
I was studying journalism at NMSU. My first year and a half, close to 2. And then after that, I made the transition to, I figured, okay, well, if this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life, what can I do that'll apply in anything that I do? So I transitioned over to business.
Right.
So
Smart
then
move.
My last 3 years was I did managerial leadership at New Mexico State University. So I graduated with a bachelor's in business administration. Nice. And I figured, that'll help me anywhere I go, and it does to this day with this particular job. I mean, there's so much management, there's so much just financials that you have to look at, and especially not only this particular within the city, because I sit on several boards as well. So that financial component or those financial teachings that I got in college really helped me be able to understand the numbers and the accounting that goes behind a lot of these organizations.
Yeah, because you know what, I've always wondered, like what exactly does it take for a mayor? Like, can I just go up there, and be a mayor, and be like, we're gonna do this, and like somebody comes up and like has 2 things, like we need to do this, and there's like, go with that one. Number 3, go with that one. But that's crazy. It kind of seems in a way that like your whole life before you became a mayor, it's like it all kind of fix itself to put you in a position and have the education and stuff and be ready to take this job on. But I wanted to ask you real quick, back to NMSU, how was your experience in college? Did you experience it fully? Was it something that you were like working at the time? You were just, concentrated on school? Did you?
My main focus in college was to get my education,
to get a degree.
Yeah. And that's why I was so adamant about getting scholarships, and I was so glad that I did get the number of scholarships that I got, because that took the burden of having to work during school.
Right.
And being not having that burden, I think really helped me being able to focus on school and get the full college experience.
Yes. So like my buddy Misa here, I don't know if you know this about him. He's never stepped foot on a university at any level. And, he has this vague like idea of what it is in his mind. And he sees beer pong and parties and girls everywhere. And I'm like, dude, it's not all about that. I'm like, there's a lot of studying, like Scantrons to take tests on. Like, you got a lot of shit to do, man.
That's why I never went to college. But I mean, colleges out there, if you guys want to change your shit around, give me a call.
No, it is. I mean, it's all of that together, but you have to know how to manage that. Right. And being able to manage that is I think, what makes the college experience a wholehearted or a rounded experience.
Yeah, and it's hard because like shit, dude. I'm going to UTEP right now. I'm pursuing a communications degree. I graduated high school in 2009, so I've been going to college for about 10 years because I didn't take it seriously, went back, took it seriously, stopped taking it seriously, and now I'm like supposedly taking it seriously.
The whole
again.
thing was that he showed up, he lost at beer pong, and then that's when he started getting serious. Like this beer pong shit ain't for me. I gotta focus on school.
Like I admire anybody that literally like puts their head down, goes to school. Like and in your case, you didn't go away to school. Like a lot of people I know went away to school, like Baylor, whatever, Texas Tech. And they actually put their heads down and they did their work and they got that shit done in 4 years. And most of them now are like better set up in life than they would have been if they didn't do that.
Shout out to them.
So shout out to them, you know, and shout out to you for doing that as well. I think it's really important. So like you're like a proud Aggie, right?
No, absolutely. And I think the biggest take that I got from school was, you know, try something else, try something different,
try new things.
Get those experiences, because it had not been through NMSU or through my college experience, that there's a lot of different things that I would not have known about the world. And one thing that I did miss and that I did regret not doing in college was doing study abroad.
Okay.
I mean, when you have the opportunity to go out there, visit the world, you know, as a student, you know, young and vibrant, you know, take that opportunity, because it's going to be a lot cheaper as a student than it is going to be
as a regular tourist.
Absolutely.
We just had Carlos on.
Yeah, we had my friend Carlos Tadasa. Shout out to you, Carlos. He actually did some foreign exchange after he graduated from the University of Arizona, and he went to Cambridge. You know, so like he went there for like a year, and like to me, like it's pretty crazy because you're taking a big step going over there.
Right.
And depending on where you're going, like a university as well known and as prestigious as like Cambridge, like to me, that's a little intimidating, honestly, you know. But where did you have your eyes set on going? Like, did you have places picked out? Did you have anywhere that was like, if I get the chance, this is where I'm going to go?
I did. I wanted to go to Italy. It's still my dream to go to Italy. And I didn't. When I transitioned from journalism to business, a lot of because journalism is so English based or writing based, a lot of that didn't carry over to, you know, requirements for my business degree. So that covered a lot of my electives, all of my, you know, viewing a wider world requirements. And I had to focus the last 3 years on doing all my business classes at the same time.
Crammed them in there.
Absolutely. Yep. So I did 5 years in college. So I was a fifth year senior.
You're good, dude. Hey, 10 years of a year, bro. You did it in half my time at least.
But I did want to do study abroad. I just by the time I realized that I wanted to do it, it was too late. I was cramming everything, and by the time I did the fifth year, I'm like, okay, I'm done with school. I'm done for this for a while. But Italy is one of those countries that I still want to go to, and I want to visit. I want to explore, and I mean, I just like the architecture, the older buildings that exist there. And
yeah, I was gonna ask you why, because for me, like I do want to go to Europe, but I think the first place I would want to go is to Germany. And I have my reasons, like historic reasons, or even because I want to check out like a soccer game over there. But like, what is it about Italy that like drew your attention, that like stood out to you instead of like going to England or like Greece or anywhere else?
I think the history and architecture for me, just I can go to any city and I mean I can just be staring at the buildings and
just walking around, just fucking like amazed and shit. Yeah.
Absolutely, and when I see a building and there's so many details into why, you know, that statue is there. And you know, it means something in particular. I like listening and hearing all about that and learning about that. And I know there's a lot of that there in Italy, not only in Italy, but across the entire European nation. So, I mean, that would be a starting point or an ending point.
And then you would go like bounce around.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Go check out the Netherlands and then go check out like Spain. And
hey, let me know whenever you go. I'll go with you, dude. That sounds fun, dude. I'll just call in sick for a month or so.
Hopefully, I do want to go there for sure, but I kind of want to go when I have the time, because you don't want to go over there with like just a week.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to go over there when you have like some time to really get to like travel to different cities and like I said, soak in like a soccer game, soak in like anything else, like in Holocaust Museum, like anything that's like
go to a true Italian restaurant.
Like eat spaghetti, like eat true Italian food in Italy.
Is there any Olive Gardens over there? Like I would try an Olive Garden just to see the
Dude, I went to Olive Garden yesterday.
I'm like, this doesn't taste like Italian.
Yeah, we're like, we go over there and we tell them what Italian is. They're like, get the out of here, bro. Get out of here. They're like, you damn Americans. Like, we knew you would do this.
But I'm still working on that dream. And I just want to let you know that I did get selected for a fellowship program with the German Marshall Fellowship Program.
Fellowship of the Ring?
No.
Sorry, my bad. I was like, yo, you're going to go with Frodo in there?
And you've been going to college for 10 years, Chris? Get out of here.
Dude, I couldn't miss the joke,
Chris.
Hey, to all my Lord of the Rings fans, I got you. Okay, go ahead. Dude.
No, but I did get selected to this program. And actually with this program through my job, I'm going to be, it's also like a student exchange, but this is with young professionals, growing up in not only in the private sector, but in the government sector as well. And it's an exchange with European students or people from the European countries and the US. So I'm hoping to go. I was supposed to go last March, but COVID happened.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do hope that, it was postponed to last fall, and then it was again postponed to this fall. So hopefully if this fall comes through, they'll be sending us to 5 different locations over there in Europe, 5 different countries, and I'll be able to experience or figure out or see how government operates over there in Europe. And same thing, they'll have people from over there come over
here.
Side.
That's awesome. Do you need an assistant? Somebody carry your luggage or something? Let me know, man.
No, but I'm excited about the program, and hopefully I'll stay a few extra weeks. I hope to stay a few extra weeks and actually get to visit.
Yeah, take some time off and do something. Yeah,
maybe we could give them a call through Zoom and then see how his whole experience is over there, man.
We can have you on live from the Greek coast.
There you go.
That shit would be fucking fire.
That would be awesome.
So that's cool because it's going to be interesting for you because obviously when you're talking about the way that governments are ran abroad, especially in Europe and other countries, I think it would be interesting because you would probably see and be able to pinpoint differences in the way that they prioritize things, the way that they try to manage and kind of mold the way that their government is going to operate. It's right. To me, I think it's vastly different than what you're doing here, right. With the city of Sunland Park. So to me, that's very interesting, and I can understand why you would be excited about that.
Yeah, He's more excited about the buildings.
Yeah, he's I just want to see buildings. I just want to see buildings. He's like, I just want a chicken farm, bro. That's it. He's like, chicken farm. He's like, I just want to.
I want that real meatball.
That's what I'm going for, bro. That's crazy. Okay, so let's get into real fast, how this pitch to become mayor of Sunland Park. Obviously. You thought this out, right? Or did you have somebody who gave you this idea?
He came up and he's like, I have a dream.
Was your mom well, mijo, you should be mayor? And then you're yeah, I should fucking.
Hey, there's an application right here. Look,
yeah,
how doing it in person?
Because obviously, you could think it'd be cool to be mayor one day, but to actually prepare a pitch and to actually go through with it, I feel like you have to have people and a support system that are behind you. Because you need that backing, right?
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about that, how this idea came.
To even have the cojones to want to go out there and even try it, if it was me, I would probably just try just to say I tried it, but never expect.
He would take it as a joke.
Yeah, I would. In some ways, I kind of would, it's just to think but nobody's ever gonna.
He would show up to the pitch with that bandana on, and be like, "What's up, guys?"
and then I go.
No, it's my mother did work for the police department back then, and I was in between jobs. I'm like, okay, I want to try something different. And I was seeing all this happening within the city of Sunland Park, this scandal. It was just, for me, it became a point of embarrassment. I'm like, oh, we're from Sunland Park. Oh, we're in the news again. Oh, what now? We were in the news every single day for something.
And part of that comes from being prideful from being from the area, right? Me, myself, I take pride from being from El Paso and the surrounding area. I know a lot of people that they I don't like El Paso. I need to get out of here. It's not for me. But I feel I know I take pride in it, but I feel like you do too. Right. That's why you were dude, this is not working. So if I could do something about it, I'm going to try.
Yeah, and I would hear things okay, that they're doing this, you're doing why are they doing this? So I didn't tell anybody. I didn't consult anybody.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Rambo, lone soldier.
Like your mom calls you and is like, sorry, mom, I'm in a
He's
meeting.
like, Mom, I'm having my wisdom tooth removed. I really gotta go. You know, I'll call you in an hour. Come pick me up.
Come pick me up.
And he's in front of city council, like about to like give his pitch.
No, and that week of that I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I think I told I think that decision came to my mind on the Sunday. That I think I told my mom and my family on Monday, and then Tuesday was when I think they were going to do the. No, it was Wednesday. My apologies, Wednesday, because I know Tuesday for sure. I was already. I was so anxious and so
Ready to
so much running through my mind. I couldn't eat or sleep from that Tuesday until that Friday.
Damn.
But no, I made the decision to say, like, you know what? Like I mentioned earlier, they already have someone in line, and you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Like you said, I'm just gonna try it just to say that.
Try to shoot my shot.
And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they already have somebody in line. I'm gonna go there. I said, you know.
Yeah.
And other people were interested in it as well in doing it. So I said, okay.
And then it's all about like the expectations you set for yourself.
Yeah.
So like right there, you're kind of already setting the expectations a little low, but that's good in some instances because you're going into it thinking, you know what, I might not have a shot, but hey, let's give it a go. And shit, if I win, then hey, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of good sometimes in life to have lowered expectations, you know?
That's the first time I've heard it that way, but you know what?
It's true though.
It worked.
It works, dude.
It worked. I knew if it wasn't going to work, I'm like, I was going to be fine. I'm like,
yes,
okay, like, absolutely.
Like, dude, like,
Doesn't hurt.
just think about it. Like sometimes, like if you're gonna go, like, and we're talking like pre-COVID life, like if you lower your expectations on a night out or like something, like you're going somewhere, just lower them, then everything will kind of be better. If you're like, oh, we're gonna go to the biggest party and we're gonna have the best time and blah blah, and then all the plans fall through, then you're disappointed. So just,
I like how you put that through.
you see,
man.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
like the way you think. Chris.
Lower the expectations a little bit.
You know, it's one statement I heard through my career as the mayor is under promise and over deliver.
Yeah, there you go. It's kind of like the
under
same
promise
thing
and
in a
over
way.
deliver.
Yeah,
Hey.
Absolutely.
there you go.
Under
And then
promise.
like,
and over
yeah, write that down. Okay,
That's a good one. Now that Valentine's Day is coming.
there you go. So city council holds this event, right?
So
And it's
yes,
like an open. What is it? Like an open forum? Like come and tell us why you should be mayor.
so they have this council meeting, and you know, I see the agenda. It says, you know, position for the mayor is going to be declared vacant, and then appointment of a new mayor. All right, they didn't have anybody's name on there, anything like that. Okay, so you know, I get ready. The previous night, like on Tuesday,
What happened?
I'm sorry.
You know,
Mic check.
that's why you struggled to get into college.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, sorry guys. It tasted like Bud Light for a minute. Sorry. All right.
Okay, go on.
I'm sorry, dude.
Vacant mayor position. Yeah,
Sorry,
Jesus,
dude.
it's shit all over it.
No, I saw the agenda that they were going to declare the position vacant and they're going to appoint a mayor. So that Tuesday, I think I typed up a letter of interest, and you know, I updated my resume and I met with the counselor that represented my district, and I told him, hey, you know what? Because you're my counselor, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to present myself, and I appreciate the support and that. Fine. So the following day, the Wednesday, I show up to the meeting, and again, there were several meetings before, and you know, the meetings were at capacity. You know, I mean, they couldn't have. I mean, the first meeting was at council chambers, and that one was at capacity. They canceled that particular meeting. This one they moved it to the senior center, which had I think 150 people capacity.
That one got full.
That
too.
one got full too.
Yeah.
And so I get in there, and they go through the agenda. They go to that. Actually, I spoke at the public comment section. I said, you know, I want to turn in this is my letter of interest and my resume, and have a look at it. And if, I think I did a minute and 20 or 30
Little quick introduction.
yeah,
right?
like I'm here to provide an alternative if you're looking for someone else for this position. And then I sat down, and a couple other people spoke. They go down to the agenda item, and when that came about, the individual that lost the election He got a nomination to be named as the mayor. That one was voted down by a vote of four nays, 2 yeses
From the council members.
from the council.
Okay.
So then another motion was made to appoint me as the mayor of Sunland Park. I'm like, oh.
Your name's
like, God. What am I doing? And there was some discussion, and then one of the counselors called me up, and she asked me a few questions. I can't remember the nature of the question, but they're recorded in the minutes at the city of Sunland Park. But she asked me a few questions, and and I answered it honestly and truthfully as I could. And the discussion was done. They called for the vote, and I got I think nay, nay. So they called him down, and it was 2 nays, 3 ayes, and 1 abstention. So that went in my favor, and I became the mayor for the city of Sunland Park in 45 minutes from the point that the first time that I spoke.
That's fucking dope, dude.
But that in itself was a scandal because back then I was 24 years of age.
Yeah, he was appointed at 24 years of age, guys.
What were you doing at 24, Chris?
You guys don't want
still going to college.
No, I'm 29, still going to college. But yeah, year 24 was rough. That was a rough year. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
so
24 years old.
So at 24 years of age, I get appointed. I mean, no one did a background check. No one. I mean, had it been some complete stranger,
he should have took hearing in a jersey and everything.
Well, and some people in the community did know me. Like I was an active member of my church, San Martin de Porres Church there in Sunland Park, and so people. Yeah,
you weren't a complete stranger. Like you grew up, you spent your whole life there. You know what I mean?
Although I was never involved in politics in the community or at that level, but I got appointed, and I was shocked. I was shocked. I'm like, okay. So I remember standing at the podium, hearing the results of the vote, and then, well, congratulations, Mr. Perea, you have been appointed mayor. Like, all right. Thank you, council. And then I turn around, and then there's like this huge number of people, because the room was at capacity.
Right.
A huge crowd, like half of the room was yelling, and because I guess I don't know. I provided the alternative, absolutely. Right. So I said hello to a few people. I shook a few hands, and then all of a sudden, this wall of news reporters.
That's what I was gonna say. I bet there's a bunch of press there. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, this wall. I think the Sun News had one of their. I think it was the cover page. They had this picture of me, and I was standing there, and this so probably 20, 30 different reporters just standing all around me in this wall. I mean, it was a surreal experience, and
right.
And they still had to continue with the rest of the meeting. So then they kicked us all out to the outside.
Like, go outside.
Hey, you mayor, get out.
City council is not adjourned yet. Get outside.
So yeah, sure enough, we go outside. I fielded some more questions, and I mean, I still don't think it's set in at that point until it got quiet, until everyone was gone. I had answered all the questions, and I left.
You had to go home and tell your mom what you just did.
No, well, she was there at that point. She was there at that point because I had told her that I believe it was the Monday.
Yeah, so she was going to be there no matter what. Yeah, for sure.
So it's I mean, it was a surreal experience, and I get home and I'm like, okay, what just happened? Like, what? Because all of a sudden, I mean, I was a private citizen.
Yeah, right.
I was a private citizen. And from one day to the next, I became a public figure, and at a national level.
Yeah, everybody knows you now.
And and one of the first mistakes that I did was, okay, well, I kept looking at all the comments about people posting on Facebook, and
negative stuff.
Some people were vicious. Some people were vicious.
I can only imagine what that comment section was like. Because like the people on the internet, they can lay it down. Yeah, dude,
I was probably one of them. Just
to do it.
Just to do it.
Just because everyone else was doing it, so I did it. No, yeah, dude, it's crazy. And like, to me, it's a really inspiring story because like, you just kind of like took it like life by the horns and was like, you know what, like I'm going to do something about this. I don't care if like I have no shot, I'm going to try. And then boom, next thing you know, hey, like,
and then you're like, everybody follow me.
Right. You like eventually had to get sworn in, right? As mayor.
Right.
Okay. So the next thing he's like, oh shit.
Which one is it?
So here's what happened next. Okay, so then I had a trip planned to, a family trip planned to Phoenix. So then we leave. Like I mentioned, I couldn't eat or sleep for 3 days. Just the anxiety.
Right.
It was so many things running through my mind. I remember between Tuesday and Friday, I only ate, I think, 2 crackers.
Dang.
I just could not eat. I
Too
just,
salty. It's like,
yeah, no, I was forcing them. But then I remember Thursday night, we were at the hotel, and I'm like, okay, Javier, this is not healthy. I mean, I was starting to lose weight because I was eating, and I looked tired. I'm like, Javier, this isn't healthy. You need to refocus. You got the position. You're in this position. Now you have to do this. I self-motivated myself to change my mentality because it was just consuming me. And that's when I said, okay, I'm going to stop looking at all the comments as well. And because I was just following what everyone was saying and this and that. I'm like, okay, you have a job to do. You have a responsibility to fulfill. Yeah. Now fulfill it. And sure enough, that Friday at noon, I had my first meal, a full meal. And do
you remember what meal it was?
Yeah, we were at Hooters.
Oh,
so I had a
chicken wings,
a chicken sandwich.
Those are fire.
Those are my favorite.
But
I'm a chicken sandwich connoisseur.
There you go. That would do it for anybody.
Yes, dude. Hell yeah. There you go.
But that's when it changed. That's okay. My mindset has to change.
Kicked it into gear at that
absolutely.
point. Right.
So then the following Monday, I showed up to work. I got sworn in that Monday. But then later that week, I started meeting with department heads and things like that, and trying to figure out what I was going to do next. Introductions. But then there was a complaint filed against the city from the Sun News because there were still individuals who wanted to attend the meeting, but once the city met fire capacity at the meeting that I was appointed, they weren't allowed in.
So they were saying that they never had their fair chance, right?
Well, and under New Mexico law, everyone who wants to hear a public meeting they have the right to hear that meeting.
That makes sense.
So they didn't put any speakers outside for people to hear or anything like that. So there was people who couldn't hear. So I said, okay, so what do I do here? I mean, I can stay here and fight it and see what the courts say, but I'm like, the city doesn't need any more of that. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to resign from the position. So I resigned on Friday. I was appointed the Wednesday. So we're in the following Monday. And then I resigned on Friday. And I said, you know what? I sent a letter to the council, do this right. Make sure that everyone can hear. Let's do it. And from that point, there was so much infighting within the council. It took him all the way to July, at this point I was living off my savings. So I'm like, okay, I had 6 months worth of savings, and then this was my last month. I'm like, you know what? Either you appoint me to this position, or I'm no longer a candidate.
I'm going back to work.
Like I need income at this point.
Right.
And sure enough, August 1st, 2012, I got appointed once again. This time I had a 5-2-1 vote in favor. And I've been there ever since.
Wow. That's a freaking awesome story.
Hell yeah, dude. That was a good story.
I mean, and we hear stories like, has it ever happened in this situation like this?
Well, I mean, like I for sure, and quote me if I'm wrong, but like I don't think a lot of places appoint mayors in that manner often, unless it follows some sort of problem or scandal that proceeded and where they were like, you know what, at this point, let's open it up, because like here in El Paso, like you got to run for mayor. Like there is no appointing, like they have enough candidates to do so. So, it's a runoff, it's an election, but in your case, and which I think is probably a very rare case, or maybe it's not, depending on where you live, like the smaller rural areas, they probably do a lot of this, and then more like bigger cities, obviously they won an election. So
and the setup that we have as a municipality, it's dictated by the state,
right?
So we've elected with a mayor council form of government, and actually when I was appointed to serve the remainder of the term. So when that term
guaranteed the following,
the following term,
you just had the rest of it, and then we'll go from there.
I mean. Luckily for me, I would say is that, I got to serve 3.5 years of that first term. But then I did have my election in 2016, and then 2020 was my last election.
Nice.
Was the job as a mayor, is it what you expected or anything close to what you expected?
I don't think you really understand what it is.
Right. I think you have an expectation, like because like you said, you don't really fully understand what you're getting into,
Exactly.
So it's hard to to say this is what it's going to be like.
Well, and many of the times you just see the what's on TV or the pretty stuff about the ribbon cuttings.
Yeah.
You don't see all the inner workings behind.
day by day.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because what we're gonna do now, and I want to get into your day by day operations in the second part of the podcast, and then I was gonna ask you some questions more about like the city of Sunland Park, some like how you guys have dealt with COVID, things like that. So let's actually save some of that. We're coming up on 40 minutes actually in the first half, so
wow.
that flew by.
That's when you know it's good, man.
But we still have a lot to talk about. So
Sure.
before we go to break, guys, Misa had sent me a special request right now, and he wants to do a segment that we call Thoughts from the Shower. And this we're gonna toss it to Misa. He's gonna fly the ship solo, and we're gonna go into the shower with him, and then we'll take a break. So let's go ahead and do that.
Let me get this water going real quick. It's been kind of a chilly day today, but anyways, hey, why do we celebrate the Labor Day by not working? Hey, is it possible to find the perfect hiding spot? Because if it's perfect, how would you find it? Hey, why is it called football, not handball?
So those are Misa's thoughts from the shower. Misa gets in the shower, guys, and he has some like breathtaking thoughts, guys. This stuff is like, it should be written in code somewhere, because
Written on stone.
Some of the things he says are just crazy. So the first one, Misa, was, what was the first one again? I forgot.
Why do we celebrate Labor Day by not working?
Javier, why do we celebrate Labor Day without
If anything,
working?
it should be like
shouldn't
a 16-hour
we
shift.
all be like laboring that day?
Yeah, like extra hard. It's like it's Labor Day. It's like everything should be open then, but no.
Yeah, why is that?
You know what? I just follow what the federal government is saying. It's a day off. You know what? I'll take it. It's a day off. I'll take
They
it.
mandated it. I'm good.
I'm not gonna complain.
We're not going to complain here. And I'm not going to work either. Labor Day, not for me. All right, number 2, Misa, what was your second thought?
Is it possible to find the perfect hiding spot? Because if it's perfect, how would you find it?
I say no, because then how are you going to get found if it's the perfect spot? You're going to be there all the, like.
No, but how would you
there.
even find that perfect spot if it's perfect?
That's true.
I'm confused. I hate it when people say that.
You know, it's you boggle my mind with these thoughts.
Me too, man. This is what I think about every day.
This is why he gets in the shower.
There you go.
Shower like 10 times a day just to think about this.
Okay, last shower thought.
Last shower thought is, why is it called football and not handball?
I think it's called football because at first, the very first thing you do is kick it with your foot. It's a kickoff. So they're like, football. That's my thing. I don't know. What about you?
But it's like just one time?
Yeah.
Like,
The first guy was
they-
like, no, this is called football. And that was it. Nobody challenged him.
It's like, yeah, but you can't really kick it just once at the beginning, and then like whenever you score, that's it.
But all the other times you have to throw it.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
It's just,
I don't know.
It drives me
Javier,
nuts
thoughts?
sometimes.
No, again, it boggles me because I mean, those are some deep thoughts.
They're breathtaking.
Maybe we need to.
Maybe we need to have a council meeting about this to figure it out. You know,
we need to do some study for this.
We need to do some research. Hire a team of scientists.
Yes,
We're gonna
for
need
real.
them for these thoughts. Okay, so guys, those were Misa's shower thoughts. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We're coming up on the 44th minute mark. Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, episode number 62. We'll take this quick break, guys, and we will be right back. All right, one more time. Yo, what's good? It's your boy Hoodie Chris from Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. I'm here to tell you guys about I Glass. Their link is below. You need to go check them out. I Glass makes handcrafted glass products locally here in the 915. And they range in uses from pipes, decorations, jewelry, pendants, and more. My boy Luis even got himself a goddamn hummingbird, bruh. So make sure you guys go hit up my boy Aaron Lee and tell him that Chris and Misa sent you from the podcast. And go support a local El Paso business today. Let's go. All right, guys, we are back from our break. Episode number 62, Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Jesus Christ,
Sorry,
that
dude.
scared the shit out of me.
Holy crap.
Make sure you guys go like us on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure on our YouTube channel that you guys subscribe to us. We get a lot of views, but the subscribers stay the same, and that doesn't make sense. Something's not adding up. We're not going to do math, but think about it, okay? So anyways, guys, Mr. Javier, how are you feeling the vibe today?
No, this is fantastic. I like the the casualness about it. It's not so formal. I don't have to be in a suit and a tie, so I'm happy about it.
I just gotta say, I had my suit ready. Just in case.
He did have his
I had my suit ready.
Yeah, well, first, for sure, thank you for being here. We really do appreciate it, and it's something we talked about off mic is that we kind of didn't want to give you that vibe of we're gonna get you here and press you on the political issues, or we'll bring those things up, but we're not trying to ask hey, what's your public policy on this or that, what I mean?
Mostly because we don't know.
Not only that, but I'm not an accredited journalist, you know what I mean? I don't have a background and
he doesn't care that much.
You know what I mean? There's other people that can do that podcast and do that, and that's for them. And we have our lane.
We have the fun podcast
where we're gonna sit down and really get to know you and crack a joke with you and ask you what your favorite food for the Super Bowl to eat is, which we'll get into that later. So that's just the type of vibe that me and Misa were going. And I made that clear to him from the moment that we set up this interview. I didn't want it to be a super, like you said, buttoned up thing. I wanted you to be able to be comfortable with us, because I feel that's when we'll really get to know the true version of yourself. You know what I mean? So thank you for coming here and being open with us and sitting down and telling us everything about how you got to where you are. So thank you for that. Round of applause.
Definitely, dude. Definitely.
And for you guys who don't know, Misa and Javier have actually met before. I'm the stranger in this equation, but Misa, real fast, just how fast, or real fast, tell us how you know him.
I knew him through my wife. She's friends with his friends. I think that's how we met. I think one time we were hanging out. I think we are gonna go out to dinner or something, and I asked my wife, hey, who's that guy? Javier guy. And she's like, oh, he's a mayor from Sunland Park. And I was like, yo, what? It's yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, after that, we hung out a few times, and yeah, he's a cool guy. And I told Chris, I was like, dude, this whole, button up, very PC thing, we of course, let's not do that, but it'd be very easy. I know Javier, from how we talked before, and this guy's really down to earth guy. It's just how we are, yeah, he has a very professional job and he has to be professional, but he's also human, he cracks joke. I told Chris off record, I told him, yo, dude, I think the last time when I saw him, we were at a little bonfire or a little cookout. And I forgot what we were talking about, but he roasted me so bad before I left that our buddy Blue was like, yo, dude, that guy just made fun of you. And I was like, it's okay, man. He's a mayor of Sunland Park. I'll let it slide.
Yeah, sometimes it's okay for people to roast you. In our last interview that we did when we were talking to the UFC fighter, she was roasting me
dude, yeah.
hard, but it's okay. She's a UFC fighter. I'm not. What am I going to do? Am I a fighter? You want me to fight her? There's a lot of problems.
You tried already, Chris.
Yeah, I already tried, and she almost broke my arm. So anyway, okay, we went on a little bit of a tangent there, but Mr. Javier, we wanted to talk to you a little bit more about you hold a very important position in the city, but a lot of people don't know what goes in the day in and day out, the things that you do that people don't see, because people always think oh, you're the mayor, they have a perception of what
cutting up ribbons, like you said earlier.
Yeah, you cut ribbon on the new rec center that's being built, you know what I mean? Things like that. But obviously there's actually real work that goes into that. So just get into that a little bit about your daily task, and then maybe pre-COVID, how much you used to travel and things like that.
No, absolutely. In reality, the government that we have is established by state statute. So we have a mayor council form of government, but we also have a city manager. It becomes the council manager form of government.
It mirrors the city of El Paso, because we have a city manager, Tommy Gonzalez, and then we have a city council. So it kind of mirrors I'm not saying it's the exact same, because it's the state of New Mexico versus the state of Texas, but it mirrors the same type of municipal government.
Well, one big difference is that I don't have veto power.
Oh, you don't have veto
no,
power?
I don't have veto
Okay.
power.
So the mayor of El Paso has that over the city manager and council, right?
Correct.
Okay, nice.
So in reality, it's more of a ceremonial position. But there by law, I have a few things that that I'm responsible for, and I'm officially the mayor's position is officially the chairman of the council meeting. So he's the one that's supposed to, or he or she's the one that's supposed to be running the meeting, making sure that there's decorum, following everything how it's supposed to be followed. The mayor is the official signatory of the city. So anything that becomes into law, I'm the one that signs it. Any contracts, official contracts, a certain contract that some of that can be delegated to the city manager, but certain contracts, I'm the one that has to sign those documents, and I'm the official signature. I'm also the individual who sues and gets sued on behalf of the city. So any lawsuits that we receive, it has my name on it.
Yep.
Wow.
And if we were to sue anybody, it would have my name on it on behalf of the city. And then in case of a major emergency, we have the ability to call the governor's office or the governor's staff and request for the National Guard in case of a major emergency. But that's pretty much what's dictated for a mayor to do within the state of New Mexico under our form of government.
It's like what encompasses like the office of the mayor, right?
Officially.
Officially.
Okay.
Nice.
But I do a lot more than that. And it's up to each mayor in their community to figure out what they need to be doing for the community. And for me, it's having a lot of interactions, having a lot of meetings across the state of New Mexico, and also attracting new people to our community. If we want to grow as a community, I'm the one that goes out there, talks to people, tell people about Sunland Park, what's here, tell not only about Sunland Park, about the entire region, because it's not just Sunland Park. If El Paso's successful, we're going to be successful as a community as well. So I go out there and try to sell that concept to everybody out there that I can reach.
And then you also, like, the city of Sunland Park is part of Dona Ana County, right?
Right.
Which Las Cruces is part of Dona Ana County. So anything that's good for Dona Ana, it is, like, in return good for you.
Absolutely.
Sense,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's I think this idea of just we have these borders that divide us, either state lines or city limits. But in reality, if my neighbors are successful, I know that we're going to be successful,
right.
and we're all going to rise together.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, there is, like, like you said, there are these boundary lines, but when you're living and working here, you don't know that. And well, I mean, people like us that grew up here know, but an outsider wouldn't know. Like you said, oh, I just crossed into New Mexico and I just crossed into Dona Ana County. Like, so it's really crazy that way. But it's good that you understand, like, the importance of not only, like, the city of Sunland Park doing good or the city of El Paso doing good, the surrounding area and the metropolitan area of, what would be northern Dona Ana County all the way down to, like, far, like, the reaching, like, Hudspeth County, like, way out there in, like, Van Horn and stuff. Like, it's a very, like, big, like, economical region, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's my job to promote that. It's my job to
sell it.
Absolutely. Of course, I'm going to show favoritism to Sunland Park because that's the community I represent.
Yeah.
And if I want new business
Constituents.
absolutely. Yeah. But overall, if there's something good coming to the community, I'm more than happy to support it. Whether it's here, whether it's in Horizon, whether it's in Benton or El Paso, it's
from Mesilla Valley, wherever.
Absolutely. We're all in it together.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shout out to Vinton.
Shout out to Vinton.
I'm from Vinton. I was born and raised in Vinton.
Vinton got a shout out.
Vinton.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Stand up, Vinton.
Vinton.
That's what's up. Yeah, I grew up right here, like right down the street. So I've been like literally like in the same spot my whole life.
In the same
which is probably
square
not
mile.
good because like you don't want to be stagnant, which it almost seems that way. But hey, that's all I got. So whatever. So okay, we're talking about the region and like how everything is kind of tied together, and not even just like Las Cruces, New Mexico, El Paso, Texas, like Chihuahua, Juarez, like the whole country of Mexico, like everything is tied in. And so obviously when COVID-19 like hit the region, it affected you guys just as much as it affected the rest of us. So like some of the things that have changed for you and the community of Sunland Park, like post COVID? I mean, now it's already been a year, but like, what do you remember like at the very beginning? And like, what are you guys doing now to like, like fight COVID, I guess?
Well, what's changed for me, in my job, there's a lot of traveling that's involved with it. And, I'd go to Santa Fe on a regular basis. I'm part of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I'm part of the National League of Cities. And there's, several different conferences across the United States that I go to, to promote the city and also learn
and network and talk to people. Yeah,
absolutely. And that all stopped. It's going to the virtual platform, but it's not the same.
Not the same at all.
It's not the same. So that's changed dramatically for me. So I'm here more days than I would like sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so much that we have to offer that it's very hard to sell when you're stuck at home. You have to stay here. So that's one big thing that has changed for me in particular. And for the community, we ourselves don't have a health department that we administer. So we're taking a lot of direction from the state of New Mexico. But I think one of the challenges that we face is just we're right next to El Paso, Texas. So whatever's happening in El Paso is directly going to affect us.
You.
Absolutely.
Right.
Especially for us being a bedroom community to the city of El Paso. Because a lot of the people who live in Sunland Park do their shopping, do their work in El Paso. And actually the people who work in Sunland Park are from El Paso. So, there's a lot of exchange between the two areas. So, we've been vigilant about what's going on. And what we've been trying to do and working with the state is, bringing in testing to the community to make sure that if people do become positive, that we can identify them and, get them to isolate as soon as possible. So we've started, we've partnered with the state, and right now, if anyone is interested in getting testing, either from El Paso, from Sunland Park, no matter from where you are, you can do testing there in Sunland Park at Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino. If you just go to curative.com, that's curative.com, and just register and take your test. It's an oral test.
Oral swab.
Yeah. So it's an easy, it doesn't hurt like the,
it's not the one that I got where they're like,
I did 4 of those already.
I only did one, and God bless.
This guy scratched the back of my fucking head, dude.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that it's the oral swab, because it wasn't a big deal, but it just was uncomfortable. And when they administered me the test, it was a male nurse, and he did it right, and he's like, "It'll be real fast," and then I tilt my head back, and he and I was, and immediately I had the urge to gag and just start coughing, and I was like, "Dude, sorry, I didn't mean to cough on you, but God bless, dude, I had no choice." Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's good. That's good that you guys are, involved with the testing, and not only limiting it to Sunland Park residents, but anybody who needs a test can get one. And it's interesting you mentioned the casino, because the casino was always a vibrant part of the city of Sunland Park. In El Paso in Texas, that sort of gambling is illegal. So there is no casinos in El Paso. They're on the very outskirts. They're in New Mexico, or they are in the tribal, what is it? The Speaking Rock is on a tribal land, so it's exempt or some shit. So it's pretty crazy. But have you guys seen the impact of losing out on something like the casino during COVID-19?
Well, not just that, because they also they have the Western Planland right there as well.
That's
right.
Correct.
Well, that whole area is just it's like a kind of like what you were saying, how you're trying to promote business and tourism. That's your hot spot right there. You have the casino. Right across the street, you have Western Playland that relocated from El Paso to Sunland Park. So yeah, talk to us a little bit about the impacts of COVID on the region.
No, absolutely. At least within the city of Sunland Park, with the shutdowns, the casino being closed, and Western Playland being closed, it has had some effect. The thing with Sunland Park is we're still very young. There's still not a lot of business within that community, tourism based. Other than that, and many people think that we get a lot of money from the casino. In reality, gambling is not taxed by the municipality. The taxes that are collected, or the gambling that the gambling goes to the state. Right. Absolutely, all that funding goes to the state.
I had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's because if you think about the way they set up the structure of gambling, for casinos, it's all governed by the state body of government. You know what I mean? So the same thing, for example, the casinos operating in Ruidoso, the city of Ruidoso isn't reaping that those royalties. It's all going to the state.
Right. That's correct. And but for us, I mean, they have a hotel there.
Right.
Obviously, the number of people that are staying at that hotel has decreased dramatically.
Yeah, especially when there's no horse racing. The horse racing is what draws in people from everywhere.
Absolutely. I mean, I think previous years they attracted anywhere from 20 to 30,000 people just to the Sunland Derby. And I mean, when those people are buying, products like, alcohol and beverages and food within the casino, I mean, that helps us.
Yeah.
But with that taken out of the equation, it's put a damper a little bit on our revenues, but I think we're still with all the other operations that exist within the municipality, we still maintain pretty decent revenues within the city of Sunland Park. But still, I mean, if you lose $25,000 a month, which is, I believe that is the impact of the hotel not being in business or being at full capacity as it.
That's a lot of money.
It is. It is a lot of revenue that we've lost to the community, and obviously, when we have less revenue, we cannot expand services or we cannot provide
lower budget.
Yeah, absolutely. So
How do you say budget in Spanish again?
Presupuesto.
Por supuesto.
Presupuesto.
I'm not even gonna try it again.
Yeah, leave the Spanish.
Not gonna try that.
Leave the Spanish to Mr. Javier over here. Yeah, and it's very interesting because like a lot of people don't understand like the financial impact that something like COVID-19 can have on a smaller community than that. They don't have, like you said, the benefits or the resources to be able to withstand and still provide the services that you guys would normally be providing under like pre-COVID times, right? So like, what do you guys like plan to do? Like, do you guys have anything like new ways of generating revenue for the city, or like what are you guys looking into at this point? So,
I mean, there's in times of decline, I think there should always be a focus on planning and figuring out what the next strategy is, or
looking ahead. In
absolutely,
a way. Right.
Absolutely, because things are kind of slow, but I mean that doesn't mean that it's stagnant. Okay, for us, so we did get a new city manager online starting August of last year. And we've been cleaning some operational things within the city of Sunland Park. We're adding a couple personnel through some strategic changes in the personnel, and hopefully, if also the port of entry comes through for the presidential permit, I mean we're looking at developing an entire package that not only is going to bring in revenue for paying for that infrastructure, but also paying for infrastructure to fix the roads and bring in more lighting across the city. But those plans have to be developed and they have to go to the voters. We want to send this to the voters so that they can approve these changes. And because in some situations it might be a little bit of a difference in the tax rules. But our hope is to minimize that as much as possible with the additional developments that we have coming into the city.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people realize that the Santa Teresa port of entry falls under. Is that like in your jurisdiction, or is like
no? That's outside. That's in the county.
That's Donan.
But we're looking to get a presidential permit for a port of entry there in Sunland Park,
like a brand new
brand new non-commercial port of entry within the city of Sunland Park. We actually submitted a presidential permit application.
So when you say non-commercial, that means like semis and stuff wouldn't be able to pass through. It'd be more just like residents like traveling back and forth.
Exactly.
And would that port connect you to Juarez directly or Napra, or like how would that work?
It would connect us to Napra Juarez, and what we're hoping is that Juarez will continue 16 de septiembre, which ends at the Periférico, if I'm not mistaken. So they would continue that road and they eventually connect to our port of entry.
Okay.
And I believe that's about 5 miles.
That's crazy, dude. I had no idea.
That's a big move right there.
That's a
very big deal.
For a lot of people that don't understand what we're talking about. In El Paso, we border Mexico, Juarez in particular. We have certain points of entry, right, which means that's where you can cross the border legally. And normally the ports of entries are fucking stacked, packed with commerce, with people trying to go over and visit family. Like it's ridiculous. So to open up a whole new port of entry like in the area is a big deal because that's another gateway into Mexico and from Mexico into the US. So I'm just giving some context for people who might not understand what it is that we're talking about here. But that's really important.
That is
like,
very
when did you
important.
guys start working on that?
Well, the idea of a port of entry, to be honest, actually existed even before the city was a municipality.
So they've been thinking about this for years, decades, essentially.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think in the early 90s, there was an attempt to a presidential permit, but it wasn't successful. I believe in the early 2000s as well, there was another attempt, but again, it wasn't successful. Now, what we've done, the different strategy that we've taken, the approach that we've taken is, okay, we need to complete all the studies that are required. And we're in that process. We're about finalizing the last studies needed. But under President Trump, actually, what he changed was the process in who grants the presidential permit. And that was just done, I think, not the last April, but the previous April.
2019.
I believe so. And he changed the process, but it wasn't until last year that we got clarification as to what that meant. And that process was that you could apply for the presidential permit without completing all the studies. But obviously, the president's office would be able to grant the presidential permit, but you wouldn't be able to build anything until you completed all the studies.
Yeah.
So having that change, we submitted a presidential permit application, and we're still finalizing the studies. And I think hopefully we will be done with those studies by April of this year.
Okay. So you're just crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's.
Absolutely. So that application right now rests with the federal government, and that dialogue is going back and forth. And
so if it was approved, like when would it all start? When would it the whole?
Well, getting the permit and completing the studies and getting the permit is one thing, and then we would have to establish the funding mechanisms, and that's what I mentioned about. Okay, right now is the time for planning. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get this accomplished, and then how are we going to pay for all of it? We're going to figure that strategy out.
Yeah, where's this money going to come from?
Absolutely,
because building a port of entry is a big fucking deal.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean. Even though it's not a commercial one, it's still like, obviously it's going to require a lot of money, like to build a brand new port of entry. So it's kind of crazy. It's really unfortunate that like all these plans that you guys put into place, like it has to be kind of not like undermined, but like now COVID is just another roadblock into getting this done. Like it almost feels like the time is never right in a way, and it kind of sucks because you're like, dude, like, COVID, like, come on, because it's like when you're talking about financials, like that's a huge problem right now.
Absolutely. And all these obstacles get in the way, but at the end of the day, it's you have to maintain your focus.
Right.
And if you're just going to stop just because, something got in the way, you're never going to get anything accomplished, because obstacles are many.
Right.
But either you try to, overcome them, you try to, negotiate with whoever's becoming that obstacle. But at the end of the day, you try to make that happen. And for me, it's not about just the project itself. I think it's what it means for the entire community and for the entire region. Studies show that this port of entry is needed. If El Paso continues to grow, Sunland Park continues to grow, all the surrounding area continues to grow. Without this port of entry, wait times at the other ports of entry are going to continue to increase.
Right. Yeah. And
which they're already kind of bad. They're already pretty bad.
Okay.
Right?
So like I work downtown, and on a Friday getting off at 5 p.m., which happened to me yesterday, like Paisano is right next to the Liberty Bridge, right? Where that's like, dude, right now that's the hot spot for everybody crossing. Paisano will come to a fucking standstill, like on all lanes, because people are trying to get to the bridge. Like it's fucking crazy. Like,
but not just that, even like the Santa Teresa port of entry, my dad works, he's a U.S. custom agent out there, and he's been there for years, and he's always told me like, there's a lot, like so much.
Yeah, because there's, other than that, then the Santa Teresa, there's the Libre, and then there's the Bridge of the Americas, and then the Santa Fe, right? So there's only 4 spots to cross?
Yeah.
And
you have your Tornillo, Zaragoza, Tornillo.
Okay, Tornillo is like super far out there, but yeah, that's another one. But when you consider the area that like spans, like, and there's only like 4 or 5 like ports of entry, like it's I don't know, it's pretty crazy.
When you have a neighboring city like Ciudad Juarez that has, what's the population, like over 1 million?
The last numbers, official numbers I heard, they were at 1.4 million people.
Yeah, see, when you have something like that, there's no way that it could work with even like the main 2 or main 3 port of entries.
Yeah,
you know, like,
especially with the commerce that flows through. Like the commerce that flows through is ridiculous. That's why you'll see so many fucking semis in those lines, and obviously they have to have their own even lanes for like the semi trucks because of how much commerce.
I'm just thinking of all the business opportunities that could pop up because of all the engines.
And that's exactly what we're aiming for is further help the region, but locally is help the economy in Sunland Park.
Kind of try to get something out of it.
Absolutely, because I mean, right now the city of Sunland Park doesn't have an identity, a downtown, and that's what we hope to build in partnership with the entertainment corridor is what we're calling. You have the racetrack and casino there. You have the Western Playland, and then you have Cristo Rey as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Cristo Rey, in October attracts anywhere from 20,000-30,000 people. The Sunland Park Restaurant Casino, thousands of people every single day. Further develop that into a downtown where people can go out, shop. And
Dude, we'll move our studio to Sunland Park.
There you go. Absolutely. You're more than welcome. Absolutely.
But yeah. Okay. So real fast, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, sure.
You said you guys have that area, and this is right off of like if you guys go down Sunland Park and cross Donovan and keep going, or if you come from Paisano. Like this area, you guys have labeled it the entertainment corridor, is essentially.
That's correct.
Right? Okay,
that's correct.
In that corridor, there's also like a medical marijuana dispensary, but it's located like across from the police station. Dude,
it's legal.
It's
legal.
Hey, it's legal over there.
I wanted to ask, and I'm glad you brought that topic up.
Dude, it's just funny because like I remember when somebody first told me that it's called Ultra Health. A dispensary they opened up, but they have one in Las Cruces. But when they told me there was one in Sunland Park, I was like, well, where is it? And they're like, yeah, you go down Sunland, go across the river, take a left. And then I was like, by the police station? They're like, right across. To me, it was just funny, dude. But
I was going to ask, like, how, like having a dispensary and stuff like that, like, does that create a lot of revenue for the city or?
I mean, it's a new opportunity that exists for the municipality, and right now it's medicinal marijuana that's legal, and I mean, as long as they meet every single requirement, there's
and then in Las Cruces, like there's multiple dispensaries, but it's because like New Mexico has established a medical marijuana program, so like it's totally legal. You
hear that, El Paso County? You get with it.
Well, no, I mean, El Paso's a different thing, but like. Just in the city limits of New Mexico, like they're able, because of the way that their state government has approached legislation, like in regards to cannabis, where they have medical cards issued to people. So they have actual medical dispensaries, which is crazy because Texas has a medical marijuana program, but it's like super, super strict and only certain people can get like access to it. And I don't even think you can have a medical dispensary in Texas. It's like, it's that strict, but in New Mexico, a little bit more lax, and I just thought that was funny.
I don't do that shit, so.
I just thought it was funny, dude, because like I said, one of my friends told me, and the location was just like hilarious. But yeah.
That is funny, dude. I mean, it's just so taboo when it comes, from where we come from.
And it fits in the entertainment corridor.
Absolutely.
and I also used to work for AutoZone. Shout out AutoZone, by the way. I used to deliver to the AutoZone in Sunland Park.
Okay.
And I used to cruise right there, make my little delivery, and then back out real fast. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm familiar with the Sunland Park area.
Man, Chris was from city to city.
City to city.
Traversing state lines.
Crossing state lines here. All right, guys. We're coming up on 28 minutes here on the second half of this podcast. Tomorrow is actually Super Bowl Sunday, guys.
Oh.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Ooh. You know what? I got to say, I think for me, like Super Bowl, when it comes to Super Bowl, it's kind of like Christmas in some ways. Just because like Super Bowl day, I go watch football. We go watch the game. It don't matter what team it is. It's always at my mom's house, and there's always good food, good conversations, a lot of beer, and a lot of liquor. And for me, I don't know, like
good times.
Most of the time, like because my team, the Chargers, haven't made the Super Bowl yet since I became a fan. By halftime, like I'm not even watching the game anymore. You're just talking, you're playing games with your family, and it's just always a good time. I love Super Bowl Sunday, man. I can't wait for tomorrow. I have to go to work, but I can't wait to get out. I can't wait to get home, get dressed.
When your team's not in the Super Bowl, it kind of becomes more about the party Who's pouring the shots?
Well, specifically the food.
Yeah, where's the food at?
Food,
So I wanted to ask you guys, and the reason I brought it up is like, if you go to a Super Bowl party, and let's think pre-COVID, so there's a house full of people. You got your aunts, your uncles, your cousin's ex-boyfriend that's now dating your other, whatever. So regardless of the situation, you have a bunch of people gathered, right? And people bring dishes, maybe a pasta salad, a dip. Maybe they're bringing some like homemade casserole that they did. Some recipe,
7-layer dip.
No, some recipe they found on Pinterest.
That's all you're gonna find. Is like I found this on Pinterest.
Okay, so if you walk into a Super Bowl party, right, and there's a bunch of food, what's the first thing you're going to? Me, I'm going to the little roll tacos. The ones they sell at Walmart in the freezer area, and you put them in the oven for like 5 minutes.
Flautas, the
little flautas, the chicken ones preferably, and a nice queso dip. I'm good. That's my go-to, and I'm happy all night. I don't need anything.
I gotta go with the wings, man. I don't care what kind of wings. I just gotta. If there's wings, I'm there.
The Tyson wings.
Yeah, Tyson wings are good. Tyson wings are delicious.
Tyson wings are good. But what about you, Javier?
No, I typically am the cook.
The cook. So you're the chef. He's chefing.
Yes. So like before, we'll do carne asada, and I'm there. I'm salivating right now.
All right. Hey, can we start the grill up?
But I'll do the carne asada. But before everything's done, my aunt will probably have some dips ready. So you just get some chips or some Ritz cookies or whatever.
Start dipping everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start dipping in this, dipping in that.
And that's the thing. Like when my mom likes to create like a different dip or something like that. And sometimes you don't even know what the hell is in it. And I don't even like to ask. I like to take that like mystery test and be like, I wonder what's in here, and then take it. And like, while I'm eating it, I don't even care what's in it. I'm just like, yo, this shit's good. I don't even ask my mom.
So I got the roll tacos. That's my specialty with the queso. Wings, and then dips over here.
Dips.
So, I didn't know there was a football game on Super Bowl Sunday. I thought it was just food and funny commercials.
Yeah, well, that's what the Cowboys haven't been on. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, guys. So that's just some Super Bowl banter. We're not going to talk about the game. If you guys want coverage on sports, ESPN, Fox Sports, I'm sure they have podcasts for that. But anyways, so with that being said, guys, we're going to get ready to start wrapping up this podcast. But before we do that, we have to do what's called 5 random questions with our boy Javier. So are you guys ready for that? So are you ready? Is it what time is it? It's 6:48. I think it's time. Javier, are you ready?
I guess I'm ready. Absolutely.
I think he's ready, guys.
That's right. It is time for the 5 random questions here at Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, hosted by your boy Chris Marcus.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. 5 random questions with our boy Javier Perea. Javier, are you ready for this?
Ready.
Misa, I know you're ready.
I'm always ready.
Okay, 5 random questions, guys. Question number 1. If you could bring back one place or thing from the past, what would it be? And I'm talking like, for example, like Blockbuster stores.
Ooh.
Like something like that's nostalgic, that's gone. Like, what would it be, Mr. Javier? I got my answer too, and I'll give you that answer.
I'll give you mine too.
That's a difficult question there. But I think I would bring Mervin's back.
Okay, no joke.
Dude, that's a good one.
No joke. Speaking of Sunland Park, I just acquired a new job at Sunland Park Mall. And I was... Thanks. Anyways, but I was just talking to my buddy, and I was like, dude, remember when Mervin's was here? And then he's like, yo, that's when shit was popping. And it's true.
I remember my mom would take me to Mervin's to buy shoes before school, and bro, I was so fucking fast,
dude.
I was so put those new shoes
Chris was one of those kids that would try on and like run in the store.
Usain Bolt was in Mervin's when I put those new shoes on. I guarantee, bro. Check the facts.
That's a good one. I like
Check
that.
the receipts.
Mervin's.
So Mervin's is good. Mine, okay. I don't know if you guys remember. You know where the brew is?
Yes.
Okay. Remember the restaurant? It was called Hudson's Bar and Grill.
Yes, Hudson's Bar and Grill.
Dude, okay. My aunt, my shout out my Aunt Mary, Baba. I love you. Thank you for everything. And my grandma, my late grandma, she passed away. They used to always take me there. And dude, I love that place. Like the chicken fingers were fire, the grilled
burgers
cheese,
were
the
good,
burgers
dude.
were shit.
I used to go there every after a Pee Wee football game. My
They would,
parents would take me there.
when you were a kid, they would give you a fucking chicken finger like meal in a fucking car, bro.
In
They
a
put it
car. And people say not to play with your food, motherfucker. Why you give me a car with it?
Yeah, so shout out to them. I mean, shout out to Hudson's. I miss that place. I miss Blockbuster.
I was gonna say mine would have been like straight up Blockbuster. We talked about it. We have a one of our guys that's part of our crew, our boy Chris Molina. Shout out to Chris. He lives out there in Bend, Oregon, where the last Blockbuster is at. And so he goes every now and then, and he'll put it on his Snapchat, and that just takes me back. I remember almost every other weekend or every weekend, my dad would go and with me and my older brother, and we'll go straight for the movies, and then on the way out, grab some candies, and you were set for the weekend, man. And I just want. I'm trying to bring that back, with my kids and my wife. On the weekends have like movie night, but now it's on Netflix.
It's not the same. I used to con my family members into renting me video games from Blockbuster. So I would like say like my aunt has the membership, my grandma has the money, my mom has the ride. We're good. All boxes checked. Like nobody say no.
Check.
Like you know what I mean? All right, Mr. Javier. Question number 2 of the 5 random questions. What is the hottest / spiciest thing you've ever eaten or tasted?
The hottest or spiciest thing?
Yeah, the hottest thing.
And don't say your girlfriend, because that shit don't count.
I wouldn't say it has to be some chile de árbol somewhere. But I know the Mercedes grocery store there in Sunland Park, we buy the chile de árbol from there, and that thing is hot.
Yeah, you got to be careful about how you distribute that on your phone.
Hey, Chris, are you the type that eats a lot of spicy food? Or
Yeah,
no?
dude, I love spicy food.
Oh, dude, me too.
Yep, spicy food all the way.
We gotta do that hot chip challenge. Have you heard of that hot chip challenge?
Well, didn't we eat like what did we eat? A spicy something one time, like on a live stream, and it wasn't even that spicy.
I don't remember, dude. We've done so much dumb
I think it was like a spicy hot sauce. Remember? And we put it on a Ritz cracker, and it wasn't even that hot. Like it was
doing
like
a live thing here.
Yeah, it was hot, but it wasn't like ridiculously hot. But yeah, I like hot fucking food. Like, let's go, bring the heat.
He likes to suffer when he eats.
Right.
If I ever move away from El Paso or this area or New Mexico,
you're gonna miss it.
I'm gonna miss the spicy food.
Yo,
we got our boy Chris, who's like we said in Bend, Oregon, and
he's out there he's on an island out there, man. Can't even get himself some Dos Equis out there.
He can. That's what's
one of our friends of the podcast, Nick, my little brother. He used to produce for us when he was here. Now he's in San Antonio. One time we ordered fucking spicy chicken sandwiches from Popeyes after the podcast.
From Popeyes.
Bro, this guy ate one and was fucking sweating.
This guy had to dip it in ranch.
Yeah, like he was sweating like he ran like a 3 mile like
he did a marathon or something. This guy was just like he had a napkin and the sandwich in his other hand, and he's just like,
bro, this guy will sweat with lemon pepper wings.
I asked him like, dude, you don't have to eat that. He's like, no, I got this. But spicy, hey man, I gotta go try that. I'm gonna go
after this.
Right after this.
Question number 3. So let's think post-COVID times. When we are able to do so, where's the first place that you are going on vacation?
Italy.
Oh, Italy, yeah.
Well,
we talked about that.
Well, probably
Second choice.
I have some friends that recently moved to Philadelphia.
Do you want to go to Philly?
So I want to go visit them. Some old college friends that we used to all hang out together. And
the Liberty City.
Hey, that's where I want to go for real. That's when it comes to the history of America, that's
the Northeast.
Yes.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's what's up. Okay, so Philly, Misa.
Honestly, I want to go on a beach somewhere, man.
I'm trying to go to Turks and Caicos. That'd be cool. Like like a badass island somewhere in the Caribbean. Fire. I'm down.
In Vegas. I went to Vegas like October. Like prior to COVID. And that was the first time, but I only went to Fairmont Street. I didn't even like experience the main strip. But I had a lot of fun. But yeah, dude, that's where I would want to go for sure.
All right, guys. Question number 4, Mr. Javier. Who is your favorite and least favorite actor or actress?
My favorite actor.
I already got one, dude.
I already know mine.
I've always liked the work Tom Hanks.
Oh, we
you
talked
stole
about that.
mine. He
I
stole
think like
mine.
episode 14.
Yeah.
We talked about like favorite movies.
Yeah. Tom Hanks has some hits, bro. Tom Hanks has some hits.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yep. I really like Tom Hanks. Who do you like, Misa?
Who do I like?
Yeah. Favorite actor?
I like Joaquin Phoenix. Or what's his name?
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
I'm a big Adam Sandler guy.
Adam
Really?
Sandler.
I'm not a fan of Adam Sandler. I am not.
What?
Dude, what has Adam Sandler done to you?
I don't see.
Besides make you laugh. You like Jim Carrey? I like Jim Carrey too.
No, Jim Carrey's a little too much for me. I get the humor, but it's too much energy for me.
Dude,
Yeah.
Will Ferrell is my favorite.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective 2. It's a classic, man.
The Mask.
And Liar Liar. That's another one.
See, I'm more on the dramatic side. I also like Viola Davis.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I like more the serious.
So like who would
he
you
likes
say?
like the Oscar winner.
yeah.
That's what he likes.
He likes premium actors. So like, okay, so who would you say probably is like your least favorite? Like, I don't like the guy from Borat. I don't remember his name.
Oh, okay. I know.
But
I don't
it's
know.
not that I don't like him on a personal level. I just don't like the movies he does. Like, and same with Clint Eastwood. I don't like his movies. I know he's not an actor, but I'm just saying.
No, I like Clint.
Yeah, he was like,
I like Clint.
He's like, you're totally wrong.
Yeah.
Although I didn't like the Borat movie. I'm gonna tell you that. I
didn't really like that.
It was so. I thought it was so uncomfortable. When I watched it, I was like,
Have you
so
seen,
awkward.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie, Crazy 8? Is that a Clint Eastwood movie?
Crazy 8, and it doesn't
Seen
sound
that
familiar.
one? Oh, okay, I might be losing my shit. I'm not a big movie guy.
You know who I hate really, really bad? And I mean, I love movies. So like actors, like even if they did shitty, they're okay. But this one lady, since I was small, that lady that played that other lady that shot Selena. I fucking hate. I know she's just an actor. And she
But I don't like her.
I hate that lady. You killed Selena in a movie, dude. I haven't seen her in any movies after that, so it's probably because
I
of
also
that.
like Shia LaBeouf before
Shia
he got all
LaBeouf, yeah.
crazy.
Shia LaBeouf
But
is good.
yeah, he got a little crazy. He went off his rocker, but it's okay. That's what happens.
Just do it.
All right, question number 5 before we give our final thoughts and wrap up today's podcast. Question number 5. Mr. Javier, what would you consider to be your biggest accomplishment and your biggest regret?
My biggest accomplishment and my biggest regret.
Right.
Oh, dude, we got him
Oh
shook.
goodness gracious!
He is shooketh.
He's a chopped down tree.
He's been stumped.
I think one of my biggest regrets is not having, like I mentioned before, that study abroad component
Right.
in my education, because I think that would have exposed me to
A lot more different things.
absolutely
Right.
and I think being able to take in so much information from other individuals and from other cultures, I think helps me make me a better person.
Yeah.
And I miss that part of my education.
Understandable.
So that for me, I think, is a big regret that I have.
Damn,
your
dude,
biggest-
his regrets are like, Jesus, I don't even want to say mine.
So your biggest accomplishment, and I would say let's try to make it other than being appointed mayor, because obviously, you know,
What do you mean, dude? That
like
has,
obviously
like,
that's a big
like,
accomplishment,
yeah,
but like
so don't take that
something
away
like,
from him.
No, I'm not taking it away from him, but like something like maybe on a personal level or something that like you've accomplished like for yourself that you hold as your biggest accomplishment.
My biggest accomplishment, I think, is, I mean, yeah, you have the mayor stuff and all that, and there is a lot of positive stuff that we have been able to accomplish with my community and you know, with the people, with the decisions that we make, the people that we affect every single day.
Right.
But on a personal level, I do think that my biggest accomplishment was to graduate school without any debt.
That, dude, that was
Because without that looming burden above you, it's that, to me, I mean, it sort of forces you. You have to get a job. You have to do
Right.
And I made a decision to myself. I told myself, like, you're never going to be in a position. You should never be in a position where you're forced to do something and you don't want to. And I have that. I've had that freedom to make the decisions that I want to because I can.
Yep.
And I don't have to assume these debts that force you to stay in a job.
And who knows, like if you had not gotten the scholarships that you had gotten and you came out with, let's say, 20 grand in student debt, maybe you wouldn't be where you are today.
Right.
And maybe that
Exactly.
small little gesture that was decided years ago with your work ethic and knowing, hey, I need to get these scholarships, that thing in itself could be your biggest accomplishment. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because it created so many like avenues for you.
Yeah. It created the environment to lead me to where I have to be today.
Right.
And that's why I don't take the risk, dude.
Yeah.
No,
Very inspirational, uplifting moment. Misa just drops it on the floor like a fucking beautiful wine glass.
I shall speak the
Shattered
truth.
everywhere.
No, there's a lot of funding out there. It's just a matter of applying yourself.
Okay,
That's
guys.
true.
So those are 5 random questions with our boy Javier. We're going to get ready to wrap up this podcast. We're going to do our final thoughts. Let's go around the room real fast today, guys. Give our final thoughts on today's episode. Misa, final thoughts on today's pod.
Yes, Javier, man, I just want to say thank you. I know we've known each other before this, but I was skeptical. I didn't know if this was gonna happen or not, but because it did, I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it. I've learned so much. I feel like I went to college and graduated already, and I appreciate it, Chris. It's a good one, dude. Always a good one. Everybody listening, thank you for listening. Make sure you guys stay safe and stay fresh.
Mr. Javier, final thoughts on today's episode.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it, and the casualness. It really it's uplifting because
Nice.
you know when you in this type of environment, a lot of people think or see you that you're somebody special or you're someone oh it's the mayor. At the end of the day, we're just human beings,
Right.
And we're just as human as you are, and I appreciate the candidness that's going back and forth and congratulations to your guys' success over the last year.
Yeah.
And I hope that you continue this growth, and you have guests that are way more important than I am here today on your show, and a much success to you. So thank you.
Dude, thank you for that. Round of applause. Give him a round of
Yeah.
applause. So yeah, I would say first off, like it's cool to hear those kind words from you, because like obviously a person like yourself, to be able to see and like to understand why we do this podcast. Like we don't do it for any like monetary reason. Like we do this because like me and Misa found this weird little niche that we like, and then it's weird because other people like it, and then we were able to get other people to like be a part of it. So it's really nice to hear somebody speak positive on that. But like I want to throw the same support to you and just say thank you for like showing up here, because you didn't have to. Like you could have said no.
We're not even from Sunland Park.
Yeah, we're not even from Sunland Park, but like it's just like it's something, and like somebody seeing the value of somebody trying to do something that's different. And we've been doing this podcast for a while now, but it's always cool to have guests come on and open themselves up and be themselves with us. Like it's cool. Like it's almost like this weird thing that we've discovered, that when we bring people on, like at first they're like, oh, what's the vibe here? And then by the end we're laughing and like just going through all this crazy stuff. So
we become friends.
yeah, we become friends. So it's cool. So I just want to say thank you for being here today, guys. Everybody who's listened, support, subscribe. Thank you guys. Like it all means so much to us. But with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and wrap up today's episode number 62, Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Make sure, like we said, like us on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube YouTube page. Mr. Javier, where can people find you on socials?
Well, I don't have an official social media page, but I mean, I'm available on Facebook if someone wants to friend me there. But you search my name, one of the first names that should pop up.
You'll find them.
Absolutely. And you know where to find me. I'm a public figure. You can see me at City Hall, anywhere like that. You'll find
them.
me. You'll find my
You'll find them
information
in
somewhere.
So with all that being said, guys, Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, episode number 62. We are